Uh, Mataji is from Bangalore and she is a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. She has a Bhakti Shastri and a Bhakti Vaibhav degree. She is a president of Mayapur Astrology and Psychosomatic Sacred Science. They have a website with the name www.mapss.in. And she is also the project director of Bhakti Marriages, a department of the ISKCON Congregational Development Ministry, and with their website www.bhaktimarriagesystem.com. Mataji has traveled and taught seminars and workshops in different countries, including North America, South America, Africa, China, Europe, and Mexico. She can speak 10 languages. She has developed a pre-marital course for people intending to get married, and she has a channel on that on YouTube by the name Bhakti Marriage System. She serves as a psychotherapist, an astrologer, and also as a personality analyst at Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, Human Design, etc. She authored the following books: How to Mess Up Your Life with Astrology, Nakshatra, Reach Your Hidden Potential, Awaken Your Spiritual Destiny, Are You Ready for Saturn, The White Side, Insight Going Beyond the Influence of Rahu and Ketu. You can download these books for free at the website www.astrogita.wordpress.com. So we are very happy to welcome her. So we welcome her by saying 3 times Hari Bol.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
My name is Khushbu.
Khushbu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy Sunday. Happy Kartik. And happy Diwali almost. I'm very sorry that I arrived a little late. So, today's topic is
Forgiveness.
why? Because it's the door to freedom. I want to do an exercise. How many of you want to participate in this exercise? Okay, so those of you who raised your hand, put your full effort. It's just going to take less than 2 minutes. I think you will like the exercise. Yeah. Hold your fist really tight. As tight as possible. For those of you who have nails, a little harder, but still try, okay? Put double the strength, little bit harder. Even more. 3 more times. Put all your energy, every possible breath of your body, put it in holding those fists really, really, really tight. Now, with that full mind, let's even chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Keep holding it. Keep stronger, little more. How many of you are feeling really like you can't hold anymore? Raise your hand. No, keep holding it. Still hold it. Little more, little longer, little harder. Put more energy. Okay, for those of you finding it difficult, put it under your feet and press it. Put it under your feet. Press it harder, stronger. Still hard. Okay, put it back. Hold it. Okay, let's talk about something positive. I can do this. By doing this, I am going to feel a sense of empowerment. I'm going to feel a sense of determination. I am not going to forgive. I'm going to hold on to the resentment. No laughing because energy will go away. Hold it stronger. How many of you are finding it hard? Keep holding. Okay, release it. How does it feel?
Much light.
Relief, right? You know that in life, we keep holding on to anger, we keep holding on to resentment. We don't want to say sorry. Why? Because we want to do this. My hands all got like scratched with the nails. But still we hold on. Why do we do this? I mean, don't you feel relief that you don't have to hold it anymore? But we still hold on. When is the last time you said sorry for something that really you meant sorry? It's a question for yourself. Think about it. How many of you don't understand English and you'd like me to speak in English? Anybody have difficulty with English? No, right? Everybody understands. Good. This exercise shows how much energy it takes just to hold our fists. What to speak of holding anger and resentment and ego and false ego and not wanting to let go. It takes a lot of energy. And right now we did this exercise for what, less than a minute? Right? I mean, maybe maximum 1.5 minutes. Not even 90 seconds. Sometimes we want to hold on to resentment for 90 days. I have certain family members of mine that haven't spoken to me for 19 years because they could not forgive a mistake that I did. It's like holding that. Imagine if you have to hold like that for 19 minutes. Imagine 19 days. Then the hand won't work anymore because the mind gets accustomed to that sense of, no, I won't let go of this. Even if it's uncomfortable. Even if it's painful. Even if all my energy is going into it. Why? Because I told you to do, you did it. Usually we do it because our mind tells us. So we're going to, you did this exercise, we're going to go deeper into what is it that the mind actually wants and how we can identify this and how we can ask Krishna for help. How many of you are ready for this session? I'll start with the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukakaroti Vachalam Pangoram Gayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Nitinamine Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripapradayine Gaurakata Damadaya Nagara Grama Tarine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. How many of you have studied some Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam. How many of you studied Bhagavad Gita? Most of us. So, Bhagavad Gita. There's a lot of mistakes, not forgiving, curses, counter curses, revenge, right? If you think of Mahabharata, Krishna waited for a few years to get all the people who could not forgive, all the people who made mistakes, all the people who had revenge from previous life. Everybody, he got them in one place to re-establish dharma, to achieve a higher purpose. Please come, Hare Krishna. So, in the battle of our life, in the battlefield of our life, we have committed several mistakes. It's human to err. We are all with 4 defects. Who can tell me what are the 4 defects? Bhakti Shastri students? What are the 4 weaknesses of human existence?
Anger, ego. Our knowledge is incomplete. We cannot gain complete knowledge through our senses. Our senses are imperfect.
Okay,
Cheating propensity.
very good. Illusion. We get into illusion. Fourth one.
Imperfect senses.
Yeah, I think that imperfect senses, cheating tendency, getting illusion, and
Lying.
cheating and lying is the same.
Ego.
Is it lust?
Lust, ego, anger, those are the anarthas. Those are the meaningless things that we hold on to, we cling on to.
We must commit mistake, right?
That's
When the senses are imperfect, cheating propensity and illusion.
Yeah. So making mistakes is the one we made a mistake by missing out making a mistake. So the primary is making a mistake. That is quality of a human being. How many times when we try to speak something, we say something and it was not supposed to say that. And how many times we forget things, right? We forget. And sometimes we get illusion. Sometimes we see red and we think that's blue. It can happen. So many, like right now in the Govinda's restaurant, there are people eating masala dosa. Can you smell it? Try. Come on, we all have senses, we have a nose. Why we cannot smell? I mean, you know how masala dosa smells, so it must be easier. We have senses, but they are imperfect. We cannot smell something from ground floor kitchen of the Govinda's restaurant. Same thing, we cannot hear. We cannot hear even when I put my mobile on silent mode. Even if my mobile is ringing, I cannot hear. What to speak of what's happening outside in the street. So we have senses, but they are imperfect. So through those imperfect senses, we get illusion, we get into lust, we get all other mistakes that we end up doing. Now, when you look at Bhagavad Gita and we look at all the characters, we can see that even great devotees like Bhishma and Drona, they made mistakes. They were on the wrong side of the battle. Could we also be on the wrong side? Most certainly. Sometimes we stand on the side and say, that person needs to apologize, not me. They argued first. They made the mistake first. Why should I ask forgiveness? We all go through that, right? We have that tendency. Now, if you look at Bhagavatam is full of stories that I will be quoting some of them today because it will be very relevant. And for those of you who have not heard Bhagavatam, I will encourage you and inspire you to study more about these characters. In Bhagavatam also, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, the basis of that mistake, how it is dealt, is the whole Ramayana. One mistake that Duryodhana makes, it takes 13 years of waiting and for millions of people to give up their lives on that battlefield. Why? Because he could not realize his mistake and apologize. So, in our life, we could hold on to something all life, take another life. Same people will come even in that life. Same people. In the form of father, in the form of mother, in the form of sister, in the form of brother, in the form of neighbor. The same lessons will keep appearing to us until we learn to forgive and let go. Now, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and he has 6 opulences. Who can tell me what are Krishna's 6 opulences? Love, strength, he's all powerful.
He's all merciful. All opulent.
He's all opulent, wealth. He's most beautiful.
Knowledge.
He's most intelligent, full of knowledge. He's fully renounced. He's super famous. Always, eternally famous. Wealth. One more, we left one more. What's the 6th opulence? Did we cover everything? All beauty, all strength, all knowledge, all wealth, fame, and renunciation. So Krishna is full of these opulences. But you know there is one quality which is above all this. And that's Krishna's forgiveness. Imagine he was all powerful, right? Super powerful. But if he was not forgiving, if I don't put my tilak perfectly, he won't forgive me. Smash, finished. I'm gone. I'm done. He's forgiving. He is the most powerful, but he doesn't just crush us for every small mistake we will do. Right? If you ever lie, that's it, you're done, you're eternally condemned to hell. That's not Krishna. Like she was saying, he's all merciful. Another way of saying is he's all forgiving. Such a forgiving father. So the devotees' qualities are also very forgiving. Great devotees have that quality to be easily forgiven. Great devotees don't hold on to anger, resentment. They don't keep it. They don't want to waste their time with that. And sometimes, like we were trying to do in our exercise, we may hold really strong and chant Maha Mantra and do all kinds of mantras, right? But it still hurts. So Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is meant to give us love of Godhead. But if we don't work on cleaning our bathroom, no matter how much we chant, the bathroom is going to be dirty. So the inability to forgive is like a dirty bathroom. You need to separately clean it. We cannot expect that me putting tilak and chanting my rounds will clean the bathroom. Sometimes Bhaktivinoda Thakur often says, if I'm very proud and I'm not apologizing when I'm wrong and I'm chanting, that weed is going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. I'll start thinking, I'm wrong, she's wrong. I'm right, she's wrong. That will grow more and more in us. So, it's like a parallel road. Yes, we practice Artha Pravritti. Artha Pravritti means doing things that are fun. Kirtan, Prashadam, reading Krishna book. Stuff that is beautiful about Krishna. We're studying, coming together in association. All that, great. But also we need to do Anartha Nivritti. Means pulling out the weeds. The weeds of all the lust and the greed and the anger and the resentment. If we don't pull out, your garden is going to become pretty messy. Can't walk there anymore. Now, there's a whole stages in forgiveness. So today what I'm going to discuss is there is a board. Wait, do we have a pen also? Can I have a scribe, somebody who can write on the board? Somebody who has a good handwriting? Yeah, please, thank you, Sarabhi. So, will have 2 columns there. I mean, without a line, but just write, no line. One is intent, little bigger, yeah. Intent, yeah. And the other little distance, yeah, action. Krishna is such a personality. You can have a seat there, maybe right there. We'll be kind of going back and forth. So Krishna is such a personality that he's very clever. What does it mean Krishna is forgiving? Because if it's easy to say Krishna is forgiving, devotees are forgiving, you be forgiving. But how do I do it? How? So we're going to study today's topic with these two things. One thing is our intent, the other thing is our action. Sometimes it can happen that you have a good intention, but then you mess up. Say a guest comes home, you want to cook a good meal, but then instead of sugar you put salt in the sweet rice. Happens sometimes. Something like that could happen. And then you're saying, oh yeah, I've made some sweet for you, here it is. And then the guest tastes, they don't say anything. Right? They don't say anything. Then after a while you figure out that, oh my God, I put salt instead of sugar. And that guest goes and says, how was prasadam in their house? I don't know how they could treat me this way. They gave me not sweet rice, salt rice. They gave me a salt rice. And it may take them hard time to forgive you, for instance. This is an example. Your intent was good. You wanted to serve them. You wanted to cook a meal for them. But the action was mistake. Because of human tendency, instead of being illusion, we put the salt instead of sugar. So the example we have is, you can just use like a tick marks. So intent is right. You can just put a yeah. Action is wrong. So what Krishna does in these circumstances, Krishna looks at the intent. You remember Vidura in Mahabharata? Vidura's wife, when Krishna came home to eat, she was so excited. So she was peeling the banana, and instead of giving the banana, she was giving Krishna the peel and throwing away the banana. It's a perfect example of intent being in the right place, but actions being wrong. What did Krishna do? He ate the banana peel. Why? Because he is such an amazing personality. He looks at the intent. He does not take actions personally. Please come. So that should be in our mood too. Sometimes we need to look and see, did this person intend to hurt me, or it's my own traumas and my own baggage that I want to take personally? How could they treat me this way? So we focus on action instead of looking at intent. Sometimes people forget to invite you. Sometimes people just forget to say hello. The intent is not to insult you, hurt you. But the action could be wrong. There's another example of, okay, who else can remember another example of intent being right but action being wrong? I have one of my favorite ones. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was once sleeping. So he was sleeping right there. You see where the cupboard is, the door right there. He was so exhausted that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just slept there. Can you imagine? Lord Chaitanya, tall, beautiful, slender body, just right there, and his leg was right at the door. And his assistant was Govinda. And he had to come and do his service. He had to do different activities for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he came at the door, ouch, he sees that Mahaprabhu is lying down there. And he sees, oh my God, I'm supposed to do the service. What's the intent there? Wanting to do service. And what does he do? He does something completely forbidden. Very, very offensive. You know, in India we are very touchy about things like, maybe in the West people are not like that so much. But in India, the whole thing about feet and crossing over elder people, and it's a huge taboo, right? You're cursed for life if you do some mistake like that. So what does Govinda do? Crosses Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He jumps over Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, comes inside the room and does his service, what he needs to do. He massages Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's feet. But you know what? It's 12 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock, it's time for his lunch, it's 2 o'clock. He doesn't go out to have his prasadam. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wakes up and he says, what are you still doing here? And he says, well, I was waiting for you to wake up. He says, what do you mean waiting for me to wake up? When you came in without me waking up. You crossed over my body and you came. What was the problem for you to cross over and go back to eat, have your prasad? I said, no, my intent while coming in was to serve you. But my intent to go out would be selfish. It's to feed my belly. To feed my belly, it would have become offensive to cross your body and go. But to come inside and serve you, it's not an offense. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased. So Krishna is such a personality that he catches the intent. But now you may be thinking, what about if my intent is wrong but the action is right? And one of the examples was, I had a friend who turned not friend and many misunderstandings happened. So at one point that person was really not behaving nice. So I never understood why they are doing this, and I was trying to forgive the person, but they were very nasty. Sometimes people are big bullies. So this person was very bullying. And after many years, when we reconnected, that person came and said, my intent was very bad because I was very jealous. I was very envious. So I wanted to cause difficulty. I was very impressed because when we realize that my intent, I'm acting in this way, I'm making a face or I'm not doing something. Why am I doing that? Because my intent is wrong. When we recognize it, Krishna becomes very pleased. But Krishna is such a person, we need to know this. Putana, her intent was very wrong. She wanted to kill Krishna. What was her action? She was feeding Krishna her breast milk. Feeding the baby milk is a very good action. But her intent was very wrong. Her intent is very wrong to kill Krishna. So when we are envious, when we are jealous, when we want to hurt somebody, then the intent is wrong. We may do nice things. We may bring people nice birthday gifts. Why? Because we want to show off. So the intent is wrong. But the action is you're giving charity maybe. Action, maybe you're giving a gift. You bring them prasadam. You bring them something. But what is your intent? I want to show how I am better than this person. It's not the best. But you know what? Krishna accepts the action. Krishna says, Putana, she wanted to feed me milk. So I'm going to give her liberation and she will become a nurse in the spiritual world. How merciful is Krishna? As I told you, without Krishna's forgiveness, all of his qualities, we would be vanquished in a second. But because of his forgiveness, we are connected to Krishna. And we are connected to Srila Prabhupada. We are connected to wonderful souls who want to work on your honesty, want to work on your spiritual life. You want to find real happiness. Because in the outside world, people just want to backstab you, right? People are not thinking how to make everybody happy. But a devotee is always thinking how to make everybody happy. So we meditate. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. That's the mood of a devotee. What is the mood of a devotee? Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Or we also say, Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. Means may all people be happy. So that is the intent where it's a right intent and you do the right action also. Okay? So right intent and right action. And then there is wrong intent and wrong action. So that's a tough one. But Krishna forgives even that. How? In Srimad Bhagavatam is a beautiful story of Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj, he also actually, his intention was also right. And his actions were may not have been pleasing to the Rasa Muni, but he was very offended. So there was this pastime where there was a big king, he kept a particular fast. And he was supposed to break the fast in that specific minute. But then this Rishi, you've heard about Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni is a very temperamental character. So he was like, until I come, the king is not supposed to break his fast. And the king was in dilemma. If I don't break the fast, then my whole vrata is going to be ruined. But if I don't wait for the sage will be angry. So with the right intent, he did the right thing. What was it? He broke the fast. But what happened? Durvasa Muni got really upset. Like really upset. Sometimes happens. You did nothing wrong. You had a right intent. You did the right action. People are still upset. How many times does that happen to us? We never meant to harm them. We did the right thing, but people still take offense. In those situations, our ego grows. Arey, मैंने कुछ गलत नहीं किया. Why should I apologize? Right? That also, according to a Vaishnava philosophy, that is also not recommended. We must apologize. I am so sorry that you're feeling offended. Of course, you have to be careful. Sometimes we apologize like, I'm so sorry that you're feeling bad. Right? We do that because we want to escape that sense of responsibility. You are feeling bad, and actually that's none of my problem. Right? That's what we're basically saying when we say, I'm so sorry you're feeling bad. Why? Because we think we are right, and we are again putting the blame on the other person. How many times we have given that apology, right? We don't say, I'm so sorry that I have offended you. I am so sorry you're feeling offended. But Ambarish Maharaj didn't do that. He genuinely apologized. Although he did nothing wrong, his intention was right, his action was right. When Durvasa Muni became angry, he was really like apologetic. That's the nature of Vaishnava. We don't hold on to false ego. We don't care about false ego. We just care about Krishna. There's another example where intent was right and the action was sinful, you can say. Once Krishna got a headache. You know the story? It's a beautiful story. So one time Krishna was in Dwaraka, or Mathura, Dwaraka. He was in Dwaraka.
Because then Narada Muni came, so he was in Vaikuntha.
So Krishna was actually in Vaikunta and he got a headache. As far as I remember, it was Dwarka, but I remember Dwarka. She's remembering as Vaikunta, but mainly he was not in Vrindavan. Okay, he was in probably in Dwarka, as I remember. So Krishna was there and he was having this heavy headache because he had a lesson to show to all the queens who are all feeling very, very great about themselves being Krishna's queens, right? Being Krishna's wife is great. So Krishna started to do this thing. I have such a bad headache. Who is going to give me the cure? So all the queens and the servants and the ministers, and forget about them, even the demigods, were coming down and trying to cure Krishna's headache. Everybody was trying different solutions. And then finally Krishna said, actually, I know the solution, but you won't be able to give it to me. I'm kind of shortening the whole story here. So Krishna goes like, the solution is, I just need just a little bit of dust from the feet of my devotees who love me. That's all. If I just apply that, all my headache will be gone. Narad Muni is like, that's it? That's great. I'm going. So he takes like a little plate and goes around to Mini, Satyabhama, all the queens. Look, I found the cure to Krishna's headache. You just need to give a little dust from your feet. That's all. Nobody agreed to give their feet dust to Krishna. They said, this is impossible. It's a horrible thing to do. Horrible action. I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. He's Narayan. He's Narayan himself. My feet, dust of my feet. Would you give dust of your feet to Krishna? Think of that. would you give the dust of your feet to Krishna? Put it on his head. Like right now, imagine you have to take the dust of your feet and go and put it on Radha Govinda. Right? So obviously nobody was ready to do that. No queen was ready to do that. So of course Narad Muni said, I have to find somebody, and Krishna's headache continued on and on and on. It was just not going away and nobody was ready to give. Finally he ended up in Vrindavan. So Krishna has a headache and all the gopis just went completely mad. Krishna has a headache, what should we do? No, there is a solution, but nobody could actually come. We don't care, just tell us what it is. By the time Narad Muni even finished completing the sentence that Krishna needs the dust of your lotus feet, the plate was filled with dust of the lotus feet of all the gopis. Everybody literally took their dust, put it there and said, stop giving us lecture, go give this to Krishna, his headache needs to be cured. And then Narad Muni, as I'm saying this story, I have my hair standing on my head. Right? And then Narad Muni brings this dust to Vrindavan, to Dwarka. And then Krishna's headache is gone, and Krishna looks at everybody and says, this is love. This is why I am always remembering Brajvasis. This is why the gopis are always on my mind. This is why Radharani is my everything. They don't care about anything. When it comes about serving me, when the intent is to please Krishna, they are ready for anything. This is what Krishna consciousness is all about. It's not about our image. It's not about us looking great. It's not about us looking successful. It's not about me looking like I don't ask forgiveness to anybody. Right? It's about doing what is pleasing to Krishna. And then all the queens understood what Krishna was talking about. Because earlier they were complaining, oh, what these gopis are. But then they understood the greatness of the gopis. Now, going further into this, there was this pastime of Ambarish Maharaj where Durvasa Muni, he crossed the boundaries. He offended the great devotee Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj was a very forgiving personality. He didn't do anything. There's only one time that even if the intent is wrong, even if the action is wrong, Krishna can still forgive you as long as you don't offend a devotee. Okay? So you can write next to that like offense. When the intent down. So when the intent is wrong, action is wrong, okay, you messed up, you committed some sin, you did something not very good. We have so many examples in our pastimes such as Jamil, we have Bilva Mangal Thakur, we have so many people who fell down from their position. Their intent was they got attached to some woman, they got attached to some animal, and then the action was they died thinking of that animal. Krishna can be forgiving about it, but if we offend a devotee, Krishna doesn't do it. But there is one way, one hope. What is that? We can learn from the story of Ambarish Maharaj in this case. So Ambarish Maharaj, he didn't want Durvasa Muni to get punished. But there was a Sudarshan Chakra. Look, Krishna has a Sudarshan Chakra, right? Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra is very hot. It's very sharp. Imagine Sudarshan Chakra attacking somebody. Oof. Run for your life, literally. Run here, run there, go to Kailas, go to Brahmaloka, go to Devaloka, go to Indraloka, go to Vaikunta. That's exactly what Durvasa Muni did. Sudarshan Chakra started attacking Durvasa Muni. Durvasa Muni started to feel like, oh my God, and then he was doing what? Justifying. He was justifying his situation. He went to different devatas, different demigods, and he said, but I was not wrong. Nobody was willing to help him. Sometimes it happens, right? We make a mistake. And then we go and tell other friends, I hardly did anything. It was only little this, and this person is so upset. You're not forgiving me. We try to get people on our side. See, look, I'm convincing you. Basically, see, That person wants me to forgive, but actually I did nothing wrong. So we try to defend, we try to justify, we try to take shelter of some other people. Why? Because we are in denial. So that denial blocks us from getting the mercy of the Lord. But if we can accept, when we can accept, my intent is wrong, my action is also messed up, or it could be my intent is right, the third option. My intent was right, my action is also right, but the person is offended. My dear girls, my dear devotee Vaishnavis, the path to freedom is to be that humble person who apologizes first, even if it is not your fault. I'm sure all the questions are coming into my mind, but the ego of the other person will come, they will all restrict me, like, all this will go in the head. But when we are the first person to apologize, we create an energy within ourselves and with Krishna in such a way that we attract less and less of situations like that. So asking for apology is nothing to be ashamed of. It actually takes you a lot of strength, a lot of courage to say, my intention was wrong. Sometimes it may be, okay, I'm coming to that. There are the cycles. First thing, you may be in denial to accept that you're at fault. Because there are stages that we all go through. We make a mistake, we become blind, so there's denial. So that's the first. You can make steps, like stages. Number one is denial. So in denial, if you can put here, down, yeah, you make a box. So in denial, we go to, like what Durvasa was doing, we go to different demigods, we go to different friends, and we try to tell them our side of the story. I did nothing so wrong. They're punishing me. See, I only stole 1 pen and they're punishing me as if I stole 1,000 pens. It's not fair. We have that, come on, I'm human, I make mistakes. Why this person should punish me in this way? So, denial. In denial, we try to get help. Durvasmuni could not get help in that moment. Nobody was willing to help him. Even Vishnu was not willing to help him. What did Vishnu say? He directed him, go back to Amrish Maharaj. And Durvasmuni tried. And he got angry also. So that's the next stage. We get angry. Anger. So we say, come on, they cannot fine me so much for something so small. First, we don't agree that I crossed the road in the wrong place. We don't want to accept. Everybody does that. We don't want to say I did it. So we usually say that person did it, they didn't get punished. Everybody does that, why I should get punished? So that's also in the stage of denial. Next is when we cannot get away with that, then it's anger. But when we work on that anger and we realize that anger is not going to get us anywhere, then we come to the stage of remorse. When we accept, actually acceptance and then remorse. So the next stage is acceptance. We say, yeah, actually I did cross the road in the wrong place. It's a separate thing whether everybody does it, what other people got it, but it's true. Yeah, it's true. And then is remorse. So when Krishna actually says that whenever a devotee is remorseful, genuinely remorseful, then we are forgiven. Remorse means basically regret, but not regret in the mode of depression. It's not like sitting there and saying, oh, I'm horrible, and just not doing anything on it. Remorse literally means don't do it again. That's what means remorse. You know how many times our parents have told us that? Okay, this time you did, okay, fine, next time don't do it. When we are genuinely remorseful, we won't do it again. Okay, so these are the stages. Now, we all have a Sudarshan Chakra behind us at different distances. Somebody is always mad at us for something or another. Sometimes it's close. We're feeling like, oh my god, oh my god. And so we go to different people to take help, save me from this situation. Sometimes the Sudarshan Chakra is a little bit far away. Like I said, some aunt who is upset with you is in another country. It's not so, the heat is not so much. But imagine somebody is upset with you, you're in a party or a function or a Sunday feast program, and that person doesn't want to look at you. Right? If you happen to come in the front, you don't exist. Why? Because they're upset with you, they're angry with you. It's hard to be in a situation where somebody is upset with you. It's hard. Or maybe you did that to somebody. You're upset with somebody and you don't want to tell them why they didn't apologize, why they didn't apologize. Actually, we are singing Namami Ishwaram, why they didn't apologize. Sachidananda Rupam, still they didn't apologize. So, our consciousness becomes, instead of singing Jai Radha Damodar, we're just singing, let them apologize to me, when will they apologize to me? So the whole consciousness is on that. But when it comes our turn to apologize, we go through the whole drama. Okay, now, what time is it? Time? So I was saying about all of us have Sudarshan Chakra behind us. We all have done some mistakes, small, big, different errors, but we fear to apologize. One of the reasons now why there's denial, anger, because of one is fear. Because of fear, we don't want to get the wrath of somebody on us. There's another story, I think most of you know this famous story of Daksha Prajapati and Lord Shiva. So Mahadev was married to Daksha's daughter, right? And somehow the Daksha was very offensive towards Lord Shiva. So offensive. He kept on insulting him. And then when Lord Shiva, Mahadev is very merciful, he's very easily pleased because he's Ashutosha. But he's also very easily angered. If you make Lord Shiva angry, Tandava Nitya will begin. Destroy everything. So what did he do? He gave a goat head to Daksha. Cut off his head. That's it. Done. Then he gave goat head. So when all the whole discussion was going on, you have a mediator. You have somebody in the middle to talk and sort out things. Why? Because you don't want to take the whole anger on you. So you have somebody in the middle. Brahma was there trying to mediate. Come on, it's okay, let's calm the situation down. Somebody both parties trust. So you will be given an exercise and you can think of mediators. If you are angry with somebody, don't go and tell that person, you better apologize. And if you need to apologize, don't wait for one fine day, I'll apologize. Sometimes if we don't immediately apologize, that thing grows. And then every day it actually gets worse. We usually think, tomorrow we'll see. Next week I'll see. Next week I'll see. We don't go and immediately apologize. So that is like a worm, it's like virus. It will grow in the mind of the other person. And then it becomes harder to resolve the situation. And all these things becomes the dirty bathroom, remember? Bathroom is going to get more and more dirty. So maintenance is required. So there was another pastime. There is Surabhi cow coming there, so I'm looking at you. When Indra, exactly. So when Indra messed up, he made a big mistake. And what was his intent? Indra's intent was?
Get the respects and get the offerings.
Right. Not very nice intent, right? It's a wrong intent. He wanted to take the position of God. That was his intent. And so, what was his action?
He started
very bad action. Horrible action. That is in the category, the last one. You see, the intent was very wrong. He tried to kill the whole Brijvasis. Torrents of rain, and he started sending the clouds, Samvartaka clouds, which are meant for destruction. He started to destroy the whole village. For what? For his ego. The intent was ego. So for his ego's sake, he was doing something terrible. But Krishna was very forgiving. Right? He was very forgiving. But there was a mediator in the middle. Indra realized what mess I've created. Then Surabhika. So she is very dear to Krishna. Our Surabhi also. We're talking about Surabhi from the heavenly planets. And she was the mediator between Krishna and Indra. Because Indra also trusted her, Krishna also trusted her. And what are the steps? Because of fear, we have, you can just put a line, Surabhi, fear, and then you can say, you can take help of mediate. When we fear the consequence, we take another person into consideration. Okay. So next, you can, like fear only, you can make the thing. How to, the next, another one. You can create another symbol of how to. Sometimes we wonder, how do I go and apologize? What do I say to the person? Because it's not just saying, I'm sorry. It doesn't solve anything. So what we need to do, that's the how to's. Now we will have different options on the how to. The first one is genuinely observe and appreciate the good qualities of the other person. Whoever you're offended. Look at them. Genuinely appreciate. Because if I just go and say, I'm sorry. No, mess up here, mess up there, mess up here, I'm sorry. How many times we have also heard people saying that? And we just go, you don't mean it. We know it. And they come and say, we look at their face like, we don't accept. Because it's not coming from a genuine place. So, these are the steps. How to apologize. First of all, genuinely look at the person and say, before you even go and say, I am sorry, take the time, observe the character of that person, observe the good qualities of the person. Oh, this person really prepares such nice prasad. It could be in your home, maybe it's with your mom. Okay, you didn't clean your room, for instance, right? You come back and your mom is upset. You need to apologize. You just go and say, I'm sorry, please don't be upset. It won't work. We need to go and say, Mom, you're always keeping the kitchen so nice, you're always preparing nice things, you're washing my clothes, you're doing so much for me. So you see, genuinely appreciate what that person is, what that person does. Sorry is not just a word. Apologizing is not just a word. Forgiveness is not just saying okay, or asking forgiveness is not just please forgive me, forgive me, forgive me, keeping on doing that. No, it's about respecting the person that we have offended. So genuinely appreciating the person. And the second is to glorify them, or that's what actually Indra did. Right? Indra didn't just come and say, sorry, Krishna, sorry, Krishna. No. You will hear beautiful prayers, also Brahma, right? Anganiyasya sakalendriya vrittimante Vashanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. I'm quoting this particular Govindam prayers because we as humans, we are limited senses, right? Anganiyasya sakalendriya vrittimante. Krishna can eat with his eyes. Did you know that? Krishna can speak with his ears. Krishna can look with his hands. He can do anything with any of the senses. We can't even do what we need to do with those senses. Right? That's us and that's Krishna. So what did Brahma do? He apologized in a poetic way. Krishna, you have all these wonderful qualities. And then he expressed, so glorifying the person, then expressing our intent. Okay, expressing our intent. Sometimes the intent is nothing wrong. The intent may be, let's take an example of a daily life situation. Your mom asked you to go and collect the milk. You forgot. Never happens to you, but you forgot. She said, collect the milk, boil it, offer it to Krishna. You forgot to do it. Then you express your intent. Maybe, I don't know, maybe your intent was to skip and not do it, I don't know. But in case it was not, you express it. Mom, I didn't mean to burden you with it. You had to come back home and do this. It was not my intent. Unless it was. So you express the intent and clarify, but still go through the steps. Go through the steps. Oh mom, I really appreciate it. Every day in time you offer the milk, you take it, you boil it, like that. And then you thank that person and then you say, oh, I didn't mean to bother you and not do it. I didn't mean to put the responsibility on you. Could be an example. It could be any other example also. Then express our intent and the remorse part. Like tell them how you're going to improve. Offer, you can say, offer, not offer solution, offer amendment. Like a deal. In a small case, like with a mom, small apology, it's one thing. Say your mom catches you chatting with a boy. Oh, that's a bigger problem, right? Then, of course, you have to go through the whole thing like, Mom, you've always been such a nice friend to me. You're actually nice. And then the intent, I didn't really mean to do that to shame my family or anything. I really didn't do this to put you guys into trouble or anything. You express your intent and say, although you've been always very open with me and you've been a good friend, I haven't done that. From now on, I'll be more honest with you. I will be less secretive. I will share things with you. Of course, all these things need to be done repeatedly, you understand. This formula just it's a lifestyle. It's not just once in a while. We say in South India, Biso Donde Tapas Kondre Nur Shaisu. It means, say this huge darshan chakra is coming at you, it's about to hit you. That last minute you cannot just apply this and say everything has to be sorted out. It has to be your mood, your intention. So for the whole thing to work, how to apologize, the last thing is genuinely wanting to change yourself. You can say character development, last. But it's not like part of it, but that's like the foundation of it. Character, changing your character, changing your sense of, why did I do this mistake? Why was my intent wrong? What can I do to be a better person? Okay, it needs to come from genuine desire. Few more here. So, the other situation or scenario or the consideration is when you need to forgive somebody. When you need to forgive somebody because they have really done bad to you. That can also be very hard. Asking forgiveness and giving forgiveness, both can be equally hard. They say asking forgiveness takes courage and forgiving takes even much more than that. And usually we face trouble with giving forgiveness because we don't forgive ourselves easily. We are too heavy on ourselves. We don't do this, we didn't do that. We are, what we call as self-forgiveness needs to be practiced. Because Krishna loves you, Krishna forgives you for everything you've done. But you're punishing yourself. If you're doing that, it'll be hard for you to forgive others. So you can balance that. By being forgiving towards others, you can be forgiving to yourself. By forgiving yourself, you can be forgiving to others. And you can always ask Krishna's help. Whenever you're having trouble with somebody, whether you need to ask forgiveness or you need to give forgiveness, make Krishna your mediator. Ask Krishna to help you. So, the story in connection with how to forgive. There was a king, it comes in Bhagavatam, 9th canto. A king falls in love with Urvashi. She comes down to the world for a while. I mean, who wouldn't fall in love with Urvashi? He falls in love with her. And they have some very strict conditions, and it's like a very interesting story. You know, how many of you know this story of Urvashi? Hi Krishna. So how many of you know this story? The king's name is Pururava. So this king Pururava, he falls in love with Urvashi and he wants to get married and everything, and she agrees on certain conditions. Right? And those conditions were very strange conditions. Like she would never see him naked. If she ever sees him naked, except during the time of, you know what husband and wife do, except that time, then she will disappear. She will go away. And he said, okay, we can manage that. But somehow or another, there was a whole pastime with these two goats that come in, and he needs to go and fight the war, and he jumps out of his bed naked. He goes and fights those goats, and then Urvashi sees him. And that's it, she's gone. So after she's gone, he becomes completely a madman. He was so deeply in love with her. So he goes and begs her, please come back with me, please marry me. Again, let's get back together. And Urvashi says, no, you broke the, what do you call it, contract over, sorry. No. And he really becomes desperate, and then she gives him a solution. You know, you can do this kind of things in order to get the favor, and you can still be with me. She peacefully goes back to heavenly planets because she's not from earth anyway. And Pururava goes through hell. He goes through crazy situation. You know, when people fall in love, they really do crazy things. That's why I say blind in love, falling in love, all these kind of words, blind and falling in. So he really fell in love and he became completely blind. So he does all sorts of things, puts all his energy and effort, and such a great king. He forgets everything in his only life and soul and goal becomes that Urvashi, going back with her. Finally, he makes it to the heavenly planets by his austerities and dint of determination. And usually in a Bollywood movie, that would be the last scene. I don't know, say some song or something. I don't know which song. I can't remember something quickly, but. I love you, you love me, we are together finally, okay, Haribol, the end of the happily ever after situation, right? But no, Srimad Bhagavatam says that's not what happened in this case. What actually happens is, he's not happy. He arrives there, he sees her, and then he has an aha moment and he says, what did I do with my life? Why did I have to give up everything? And he realizes, because he had resentment. He was thinking that she left me. He had not forgiven her. Sometimes people leave us. Maybe friends leave us. Some relatives may reject us. Husband may leave. We don't know. Boyfriend may break up. BFF forever may break up. They may hurt us. These things happen. And usually in the modern day videos and motivational things, what you see is like, take a revenge, this is the best revenge, do this, do that, right? The mundane world is all about passion and ignorance. Passion and ignorance. So we get into that mood. We want to take a revenge. We want to show that. We want to show that we are capable. So in Pururava's case, we can read that he actually realizes actually I should have just forgiven her. She kept to her contract. She kept to the contract. This is what it is. And why did I even expect her to stay back on earth? She's not even an earthly being. She doesn't even stay with one person. They are like Gandharvas. They are meant to have different lifestyle. And he just realizes his fault. So why I'm giving this example is, in our life, We may be holding somebody responsible. Usually we hold our parents responsible. It's because my parents were fighting that I'm like this. It's because my parents didn't provide me in this things that I am in this situation. Or because my boyfriend left me, I am in this condition. Whatever. We usually blame others for our situation. And we keep that like goal and center of our life. And then we may put so much energy into it instead of living our life. Instead of just saying, oh, Krishna took away something which was not good for me. Let me move on with my life. Let me do something positive. But we hang on to something. It's like, can you imagine somebody who doesn't want to go to the bathroom and pass what they need to pass? And they say, no, I don't want to. I want to keep it. I want to keep it. So when relationships are being taken away or something is being taken away, it's like that. When the body needs to excrete stool and blood and urine, blood I'm saying because we are all women here, it needs to go out. There are people who want to keep taking tablets to prevent going to the bathroom or prevent getting periods. It's nonsense, right? But we do that emotionally sometimes. We don't let go of relationships that are not working. We don't let go of people who don't want to be with us. We don't want to let go of people who don't respect us. We want to hold on. Remember the exercise? It can be different analogies with that exercise. Hold on to it. So in that Purava's example, we see that resentment was a problem. Resentment, like under fear, you can write resentment. Resentment basically can mean anger also. So with that anger, we may do things. We may try to do things like Purava to get that person again. I know a lot of people, I'm an astrologer, a lot of people come to me, will my boyfriend come back to me? It's a huge thing. People are like, they find it difficult to let things die, to let it go. And that is also a block. Because if we forgive ourselves, the other person, we can fly, we can live, we can be free. Now we're going to do a short prayer. You can all close your eyes. After this prayer, we're going to get into an exercise that we will all be doing. It's a writing exercise which will take you into meditation of your own life. So this prayer is a preparation for that meditation. You can repeat after me. Dear Shri Radha and Govinda, my divine Father and divine Mother, thank you for forgiving me for all the mistakes I have done.
Thank you for forgiving me all the mistakes I have done.
Thank you for bringing me back into the relationship with you.
Thank you for bringing me back into the relationship with you.
Thank you for taking care of my needs.
Thank you for taking care of my needs.
Today I beg of you
Today I beg of you
to kindly give me the ability to forgive.
kindly give me the ability to forgive.
To forgive the way you and Srimati Radharani do.
Forgive the way you and Srimati Radharani do.
To forgive others, to forgive myself,
Forgive others, to forgive myself,
and to seek forgiveness when it is the right time.
and to seek forgiveness when it is the right time.
Please give me the courage to take the right step.
Please give me the courage to take the right step.
Please release me from resentment and fear.
Please release me from resentment and fear.
Please help me to build strength of character.
Please help me to build strength of character.
And please fill my heart with love and forgiveness.
Please fill my heart with love and forgiveness.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So now, with this prayer in mind, each of you can have a paper and you can also cut it if you don't have it. Those of you who have a paper, very good. This paper is going to remain with you. You don't have to give it to me or anything. If you can pass on these papers, make sure everybody has a paper. And we also have some pen. Thank you, Ashka, for arranging for the paper and pens. And maybe some of you already have pens. Whoever doesn't have a pen can come here and pay 1,000 rupees and take a pen. No, it's not 1,000 rupees. I will forgive you for not giving me 1,000 rupees. So those of you who want 1,000, no, sorry, pens you can have. So you can fold, okay, everybody please get a piece of paper. So the 4 columns will be, the first column So on the board, on the board we're not going to write everything. On your piece of paper you will also have so the first will be, who do you owe apology to? Somebody, yeah, you can say who. Who do you owe an apology? What mistake have you done and you're holding on to it, you're not said sorry? The next column is why. Under the why, you need to also tick intention and intent and action. Were you intending to hurt this person or not? And short thing of why. For example, I did not pick up the milk and didn't offer it to Krishna. This is an example. Next column will be my weakness. And there you need to be specific. You need to be specific. It could either be lack of communication or it could be laziness. Maybe you owe an apology because you're being lazy bum. So maybe that is your weakness. Or in another scenario, maybe you didn't communicate properly and that's your weakness. You need to be very, very honest about what is your defect, what is your character fault in that situation. Next, the last column is what can you do to productively improve the relationship. What can you do to improve? You can say improve. So it should be something productively you can do to improve. For example, make a commitment to help your mother 30 minutes in the kitchen twice a week. This is an action-based how to improve. It's not just about, I'll be a better person. It doesn't mean anything. Right? It needs to be action-based. So I'm going to give you, this is obviously an exercise that you can continue at home, but this is just for practice purposes. I'm going to give you 5 minutes and you can write down the names of people under who do you want apology. You can start from past. You can even start from Krishna. You can start from anybody, from your parents to your friends to something that happened today, and you can end with yourself. Why do you owe an apology to yourself? Okay, at least I want you to write 3 to 4 names. Look, just takes a moment of introspection. Close your eyes, pray to Krishna, and see, Krishna, who do I owe an apology? Look at your life and see those people that come to you. Write down those 4 names. Why you owe them why do you owe an apology? What was your weakness? What can you do to improve? 5 minutes starting now.